In the French region of Pays de la Loire lies the city of Le Mans, the capital city of world motorsport. The first ever Grand Prix was held here in 1906, and the famous 24 Hours of Le Mans sports car race on the Circuit de la Sarthe has run 87 times since 1923, and the Circuit Bugatti regularly hosts MotoGP and the FIA European Truck Racing Championship. But whilst Le Mans is famous for car, truck and bike racing, just a stone's throw away is the Circuit International Alain Prost, where the world's top kart racers would dearly love to take a victory. Winning at Le Mans in any discipline of motorsport puts you in the Hall of Fame forever. And with the FIA Karting European OK and Junior Championships crowned this weekend, the desire to win is greater than ever. The handicart competition is very complicated. It's a little harder than normal karting because we have the adaptations. These adaptations are equipment we add on to the kart, so the competition is a little harder. The times always improve. It gets better and better. This year the time keeps improving. I think it's better because we found settings with my mechanic Florent, and we're improving the times together. With the heat it's actually quite hard, but we are like the rubber erasers on the track, so you have a lot of grip. The difficulty is greater, and you feel it more because I'm driving with one hand, with the other arm on the accelerator. We find it even more difficult when there is a lot of rubber on the track, like here at Le Mans this weekend. Let's go on board with junior points leader Marcus Lemond around the Circuit International du Mans. Down the straight and into a left-hand sweeper on this anti-clockwise layout, which tightens on the apex. Back on the power, don't use too much curb on the right or you'll be penalised. Now a double right-hand pair of corners, being careful not to use too much of the curbs leading into a very tight hairpin, immediately followed by a similar left hairpin. Control the pace and balance the throttle, allowing momentum to carry you through. Through the chicane, left and right with plenty of curb at both points, the car can flow through the left, then into the banked hairpin, a prime overtaking opportunity into the left and back on the power through the right. Down the back straight and getting ready for a heavy braking point into the next left, tighter than 90 degrees. Keep the kart well balanced as the next right is also tough, but you can plant the kart back on the power from here through the final two left-handers, keeping steady on the exit as the final corner curb can catch out the unprepared. And that's the lap at Le Mans.
Lorenzo started late the activity of karting because it's only 2 years really that he's involved in this sport, and at the beginning of the year really we were not sure if we had the capability to be in the Czech FIA Championship. Team principal Dino Chiesa decided that he could go, so we went for that.
After 2 days testing we can be quite happy. He's improving a lot. We have to consider that he's at his first season, so he needs to learn and to improve himself. Honestly, I think he has a good potential, but we need a little bit time. I mean, it's completely different. He's passed already many years, so in the past when I was doing a European Championship it was only one shot, so one race, but I think was anyway very high level.
The Junior European title comes to an epic conclusion as Marcus Amond holds a 10-point advantage over Thomas Tembrinka, with 4 other drivers still holding a slim chance of taking the crown. With all of the title contenders struggling for pace over the early stages of the heats, it could be a dramatic conclusion to the championship. And with Le Mans being the only anti-clockwise circuit on the calendar, it increases the challenge for all the competitors and provides a chance for the drivers to bow out of the 2019 European season on a high.
We are quite fast, but not really fast. We have some technical problems a bit, but I think I'm a bit confident for the qualifying. My coach is always saying when I'm seeing guys like at the back, I'm not always like that. So now it's better. It's going to be close and more pressure, but I think I'll be calm and try to do my best. I don't think about it. I just want to do my best and see what the result is.
I don't really feel any difference. I think it's pretty similar, but I like this track and I think it's alright, yeah. I think it's mostly about the championship, but I'm just trying to focus on my race and I just try to do my best and see what happens. And I'm pretty sure we can just get as many points as we want to for the championship, and I think it's all good.
Martinius Stenshorn and Kimi Antonelli pair up on the front row of the starting grid, with the latter potentially able to climb to second in the championship. But with Thomas Tembrinka dramatically not reaching the finals, he's out of the hunt for the title. Only Tuukka Tarpanen can now realistically beat him, and he has to win, with Amand out of the points. As the field plough into turn 1, Martinius Stenshorn holds the lead, and there's a collision in the midfield that eliminates Brando Badura and Philip Victorson on the spot and drops Roman Sharapov to last place, where he would stay for the remainder of the race. Stenshorn holds an early advantage over Antonelli and James Wharton, as Alfio Spina begins his attack by slicing ahead of Conor Zilic into the hairpin on lap 2. Yuga Chukwu seizes his chance and grabs a place off Zilic as well, around the outside in the final right-hander. Into the first corner, and as Stenshorn drifts wide, Antonelli passes, and Wharton nearly completes the same move. But for the Rosberg Racing driver, second in the standings now beckons. Not everybody ends their season in glory, as Alexander Partashev and Tazan Fuvazak tangle in the first corner, whilst Marcus Amond is working very hard to stay in the leading pack. But losing out to Jamie Day is better than risking a retirement at this late stage of the season. He gets his own back later regardless, pulling off an excellent double pass on Day and Conrad Lawson. Overtaking is a popular pastime at Le Mans. First, Jamie Day outwits Conrad Lawson, and then the Forza Racing teammates Rafael Chavez-Camara and Arvid Lindblad steal a position from Zilic. And it doesn't get any easier for the American, as Christian Ho and Daniel Briz rub more salt into the wound, but he does keep Maxim Soldatov at bay. The champion-elect has opted to take his time about things and makes a simple pass on James Wharton when the Australian's move on Nikita Bedrin doesn't quite succeed. Advantage, Amond. Lindblad then passes his teammate Chavez-Camara in a weekend that saw the British star step up and grab a pair of heat wins. Spina eventually loses patience, stuck behind the Norwegian, as Stenshorn loses ground to the Italian. Yuga Chukwu is next and passes his teammate with comparative ease. Down the back straight, and Marcus Amond nearly loses everything in a tight moment with William Siverholm, a little too close for comfort. Jamie Day takes full advantage of the Frenchman's caution and takes the place away once more. They say you should never hit your teammate, but Ho and Lawson drop the ball and tangle into the final chicane, leaving the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team with an awkward conversation to have after the race and Lawson down the order. With Tuukka Tarpanen out of the points behind them, unable to make progress through the field, Amond is racing brilliantly with Bedrin and Day, with no need to take any big risks, and on course to become the first French racing driver to win the FIA Junior European Championship this century. But he's not out of danger yet, as Wharton steals a position and Lindblad is next in line. And when he makes the move at the hairpin, Alex Dunn can't resist the chance to make his own bid for his championship rival. It's a tough task, and the Frenchman makes it as hard as possible, but can do nothing to keep the Irishman back. And now the Tony Kart racer has bigger fish to fry up the road. With Antonelli, Spina and Yugachukwu clear up front, attention turns to the battle for fourth, and as Day makes his move on Siverholm, there's still time to catch Stenshorn. Heading into the final lap, and the Emirati is ruthless in his bid to pass the pole sitter. But after a strong weekend from Martinius Stenshorn, in which he claimed pole position in time qualifying, 3 heat wins and pole for the final, he won't take defeat lying down. Try as he might, the Lennox Racing driver just can't find the space to pass Stenshorn, and Ricky Flynn Motorsport's Norwegian star can now be considered a strong prospect for the World Championships at Alajärvi in Finland. Siverholm and Wharton would creep into the fight late on, with Amand behind them set to seal the title. So Kimi Antonelli becomes championship runner-up and wins the race ahead of Spina and Yugachukwu. But now Amand can celebrate as he becomes European Junior Champion and is already the hot favourite to do the double at his second home in Finland in September.
Yes, my race was really nice. I started well. After the first corner I was second, and for the first 2 laps I focused just close to Wharton, and after I focused to push and catch Martinius. After it was really hard to overtake him because he just closed every corner. But in the first corner I find the space and I overtook him.
Yes, it was a good race and very tight. At the first corner, I took it for granted a little, but I managed to pull back into 6th position. Then, lap after lap, I tried to pass each of the others in turn until I arrived at a certain point. I had the pace and just tried to go after Andrea.
Wasn't the easiest race, obviously starting P7, involved in a crash in the first heat, so yeah, that was quite hard, but I managed to come back to 3rd. I got through Martinius, but I couldn't catch the first 2, so yeah, I still want to thank the whole team, my mechanic Jamie, and One Engines. Hopefully it goes well. Well, I want to win, but there are many other competitors, and yeah.
Qualifying was really difficult to predict something because in 2 hour time there can be a lot of changes. Luckily, and also because he's strong, Antonelli take a very good qualifying. He make P4 in total, and that can permit him to start in a good position for all heats. And he's at the end starting second in the race in the final. We knew that he has a good chance to win the race. Also, what else? He did everything well. He haven't done any mistake for a young driver like him. It's a fantastic job. Then thanks also to the team, that's a support team, the engine tuners, like Alberto from Yame and KVS. Really, everything looks easy at the end because they take the lead very quickly and then he go away. But it was not that easy. I think all the effort from the team is, I think, is the right result at the end.
Three competitors head into the OK final round with a chance to grab the championship crown. Dexter Patterson leads without dropped scores, but Lorenzo Travasanuto leads when dropped scores are taken into account. Meanwhile, Gabriele Mini can steal the championship from both men, but he has to win and hope that his rivals score low. None of them have won the title before, and each have an equal chance of making the dream a reality. It's a sensational showdown, worthy of the pinnacle of world karting.
pretty tight, pretty similar in the championship, but also Gabriele is still in third and could still snatch the championship. But pace-wise, I think there's still many drivers to win the race, so we'll see later on the weekend.
I think at the moment there's too many factors to consider, because without the drop, Dexter is ahead. With the drop, I'm ahead of him, but the distance is so short that I believe it's just better to focus on doing the best possible until at least the final, and then from the final I think we can decide and see what to do.
This is a new track for me, so this is going to be a new challenge. This is my first race ever in this track, and I'm here as a contender of the championship, but a bit more on the outside than the top two. So the only thing I can try to do is to do my best and try to win this race.
Kobe Powers and Lorenzo Travasanuto share the front row of the grid for the final, with Gabriele Mini in 4th and Dexter Patterson in 7th. And after a false start, the race begins in earnest, with first Kirill Smal and then Kaz Havercourt leaping ahead of Travasanuto, with Harry Thompson crowded out at the first corner and dropping to the back, as Patterson passes Dino Beganovic for 5th. Mini has to win to stand any chance of stealing the championship, and as he passes Travasanuto, Kirill Smal moves past Kobe Powers for the lead. But the Belgian isn't going to be pushed around, and he makes an instant retaliation for the lead of the race, and is immediately joined in 2nd by Havercourt, with Mini just missing out on 3rd position. Just 3 corners later, and Havercourt snatches the lead, with Smal not quite recovering to 2nd. Smal and Mini then both sneak past the CV Performance driver, and even Travasanuto has space to move into 4th place too, whilst Patterson is left frustrated at the back of the queue. Patterson can't afford to wait any longer, and as he makes his move on Powers, neither yields and they collide. Powers continues after losing places, while Patterson limps back to the pits, out of the race and the fight for the championship. Sebastian Montoya leads the charging pack as Powers gets back in front of Beganovic, with Hugo Sasa stealing the position from both of them. Further back, and Nicolas Bertolatti just can't quite make the move on outgoing champion Hannes Janka. Havercourt leading the race is under massive pressure from Kirill Smal, and heading into lap 5, he grabs the lead again into turn 1. A lap later, and it's Gabriele Mini's turn, completing the same move at the same place. But just as he starts closing on the race leader, his job is made easy, as an engine seize robs Kirill Smal of his best possible chance of a maiden FIA European OK final victory. Unbeknownst to Joe Turney, he is carrying a loose front fairing, but it doesn't stop him passing Travasanuto, while behind them, Taylor Barnard overtakes Kai Askey as the two Brits try to keep up with their countrymen. Travasanuto is looking good to become European champion, but he has to make sure he doesn't lose too many more places, or it could go to Mini instead. Things haven't gone so well for Powers, who allows his teammate Bertolatti to pass, a disappointment after winning 4 of his 5 heats. Sebastian Montoya, son of Indy 500 winner Juan Pablo, duels with Hugo Sass, while the CV Performance twins pass Kai Askey. But Luigi Coluccio is hungry for a podium finish, and he makes a big lunge on Havercourt, and as they drift wide, Joe Turney makes a spectacular move to surge ahead of both of them. That moves Turney up to 2nd, chasing after Gabriele Mini, who is driving the perfect race up front, with Coluccio ahead of Havercourt. But at the hairpin, Taylor Barnard finds the move to grab 4th position. It's a great overtake, but this is Kaz Havercourt's best weekend in the championship so far, and he won't accept being overtaken at this stage of the race. So he makes his move back very quickly. Mini is dominating up front and hoping he can be champion by the finish. Turney is 2nd, ahead of Coluccio, Havercourt, Barnard and Travasanuto, who can be champion finishing in 6th. Although he can't afford to lose too many positions, his consistency is still looking good enough to complete his objective of adding the European title to his world crown from Kristianstad last year. Havercourt, meanwhile, is struggling to keep up with Coluccio as the drivers enter the toughest phase of the race, where looking after their tyres efficiently can be the difference between a podium and a poor finish. But after what has been an ultra-competitive weekend, several drivers had put on a great show in the season finale, as Beganovic runs 7th behind Travasanuto, with Sasa, Bertolatti and Powells in the top 10, ahead of Aski, Delano Van Toth, Montoya, the resurgent Harry Thompson and yesterday's heat winner Morgan Porter. Taylor Barnard then makes another move on Kaz Havercourt, and the shift in momentum holds up Beganovic, with Travasanuto able to sweep past them both into 5th position, as Beganovic completes a bold move on Havercourt. Barnard then sets after Coluccio, who is unwilling to make life easy for him. He makes the move heading into the final lap, only for the pair to clash out on it, with the Italian out on the spot and Hugo Sass joining him on the sidelines. A controversial end for the two of them. Up front, Gabriele Mini has been invincible, and as he becomes vice-champion, Travasanuto moves up to 3rd on the road and is then elevated to 2nd post-race after Turney's front fairing penalty is applied, which makes Travasanuto the new European champion, with Taylor Barnard completing the podium.
The first lap my pace was really good. Every lap I was gaining one position more. Since I was still in P3, then I passed in P2 and the first guy has a problem, so from that moment, from the 6th lap I was leading. I just managed my race and I'm really happy for the win. I want to thank my family, my team, the TM and everyone who has supported me.
I'm really happy. It was the only main title I was missing in the senior category, so I'm slightly fulfilled, but of course we'll keep pushing toward the next goals. And yeah, the race has not been super easy. We had to put the new tires in the last heat to sort of, let's say, seal the championship already before the final. So the final was an extra coming to finish 2nd. We were not expecting it with the used tires, but at the end we had a little bit of luck in the race, which sometimes helped.
It was a crazy race. In the start, I think I lost a couple positions, but then after I just get one by one and managed to get on the podium. When I was in 5th position and I had a big gap, I could just manage the tyres, and when they started to fight in front, I pushed and managed to get a couple more overtakes. Of course, I want to win the World Championship. Just like everybody else, I'm going to push everything I have to win.
It was not an easy weekend, starting from the quali, when there was a big question mark on how the track could be, changing a lot session by session. But we managed to make a good time to start in front in the heats. And during the heats, it was not easy because there were some competitors that had a good speed, so it was not an easy task. Especially the last one with some drivers with new tires was we had to defend, and we managed to have a P4 for the final. And then we were aware of the potential with the new tires, so I would say that final was we knew we had a good speed to fight for the win. The most difficult part were the heats, where we tried to stay in front as much as we could for the final.
With 4 different junior winners through the year in Tuka Tarpanen, Marcus Amond, Jamie Day and Kimi Antonelli, it's been an epic battle all season long. But the consistency paid dividends for French ace Marcus Amond. With Dexter Patterson kick-starting back at Angeville with a win, and then watching Lorenzo Travasanuto's epic fight back at Genk and Kristianstad, coupled with Mini's brilliant run at Le Mans, we've seen some incredibly worthy winners, and an outstanding champion in Lorenzo Travasanuto. Come rain or shine, the best in the world have gone to battle and entertained us royally. When the OK and junior categories congregate again, it'll be for the World Championships at the Mikasalo circuit at Alajärma in Finland in early September. And after the intensity of a brilliant European Championship season, it's set to be an amazing battle, and one you'd be foolish to miss.